called the Jurassic Park Extra Value Meal.
Okay, let's eat!
I don't even have my mic on. Alright, so let me preface this by saying that I absolutely did not have a script ready. It's like, it's 11:50 right now. I just really needed to talk about this. So I was trying to go to bed, and I listened to Kent Hovind have a debate about, he tried to make it about evolution, of course, but it was a debate about whether birds are dinosaurs or vice versa. Dinosaurs were birds. The answer is yes, they are. I know I already did a video on Kent Hovind, and I didn't want to do videos about the same person multiple times, let alone multiple times in a row. But I just needed to get this off my chest. You know, I need to be free of it. So first, Kent Hovind will say that dinosaurs are not birds, or birds are not dinosaurs. They're different kinds. There's a dinosaur kind and the bird kind, which I don't know if I talked about in my last video about Kent Hovind, debunking Kent Hovind, which is something that you guys should definitely watch. Kind isn't a thing, right? That might work in an elementary class, but it doesn't work when we're talking about biology, let alone geneticism and, you know, other shit that I don't understand. We're talking about science. We're talking about facts, non-changing fact. And, you know, like, it sounds cliche, but this is the reason why they ask in biology classes, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? And it's to get students thinking about how evolution isn't just something that pops up. Birds just didn't pop up. It was a slow progressional evolution, because there was no definitive starting point for a chicken. A chicken was never just always a chicken. At one point, a chicken might have been an Archaeopteryx. But birds definitely did evolve from a species of dinosaur called a theropod. Not a species, but a type. I guess a species. No. It's a group. Basically, a group of dinosaurs called theropods, which is basically upright, standing on two legs. And the most identifiable feature that you might have heard of is the hip bone. Think of like T-Rex with more feathers and less of a chance to be on Jurassic Park. And over millions of years, small things changed to make a dinosaur a bird. And like I said, the transition wasn't overnight. It was a slow progression of things that happened over millions of years. Small little changes over millions of years. I mean, even just some of the similarities. Early theropods had hollow bones. A lot of them, I think almost all of them, none that I could think of at least right now, had 2 toes. I think they all had 3 toes, or 3-toed limbs. You know, like I said, hip bones. Other features that have existed for birds now existed for dinosaurs in the past. And over time, these dinosaurs developed feathers for flight rather than what would have been used, well, at least what I think would have been used for presentation, you know, for attracting mates, wearing off predators. Basically, the feathers at first would have been vestigial. They probably wouldn't have been used for flight, and then over time, they would have evolved into being able to use some of these feathers for flight. Because as dinosaurs started to die, if you were able to get up high and see your food, you were able to survive better. And if you've seen Jurassic Park, you might already know this because they're beginning scene, but this little guy right here, this dude, has more in common with a velociraptor than you might want to believe. And when I say you might want to believe, I'm talking to Kent Hovind. I feel like a lot of us have already kind of accepted the fact that dinosaurs and birds are one of the same. Like I said, just imagine a T-Rex, but the size of a chicken. Adorable, scary, and I brought it up before, the similarities in their skeletal structures, uncanny. And you know, I brought it up, but let's talk about it a little more. The wishbone, right? Or the furcuula. It's like the key feature in both theropod dinosaurs and birds, acting as a spring to store energy to take off in the air. Even in larger birds, larger flightless birds like ostriches or emus, you could see this, and it's connected to a muscle. Now, you can't say like, oh, it's just that all things have this thing, and if I was able to fly, I would have that bone too. No, you don't have that bone because you don't even have that muscle. That muscle doesn't exist in the human body, doesn't exist in any mammalian body. This is including flightful mammals like bats. And let's talk about feathers, right? I mentioned it a little bit before, but we know for a fact that there is at least 25 factual known dinosaurs that I can just think of off the top of my head that definitely had feathers. For example, take the famous Archaeopteryx, which is one that he talks about a little bit in the video that I watched. And you know what? I want you to watch it yourself. I don't want you to take my word for the things that he's saying. A link to the video will be in the description. But the Archaeopteryx, a great example of a transitionary fossil from flightless theropods to flightful birds. Lived about 150 million years ago, had feathers, had wings. I mean, other than feathers and wings, it had a lot more going for it than the average bird. Sure, it could fly, but it also had teeth and small little claws, as well as a long bony tail. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a feathered dinosaur to me. And Kent will say that it is just a dinosaur or it's just a bird. And then he'll bring up very similar cases of birds today having odd teeth. That's completely not the point. The point is that this is a beautiful example of a transitionary fossil. A transitionary fossil being a fossil that you can link from one animal to the other, a past animal to a present animal by looking at certain features. And fossil identification and bone identification is a perfect way of looking at it, not just for paleontologists, but zoologists. For example, if I put up a jaw right here, you don't need to be a scientist with a degree to look at this and say that this is the jawbone of a herbivore. There's flat teeth of a herbivore, but not just a herbivore, but a mammal. There's flat teeth, there's a little latch where it would attach to his skull to move freely up and down. And after further study of multiple specimens, you might be able to come to the conclusion that's the jaw of a deer. And that's the whole point with this, is that by looking at Archaeopteryx, it's the perfect blend of non-avian dinosaurs and birds. It's beautiful. Can you guys hear my cat fucking it up back over there? Right, let's put our best foot forward and look at their feet. Just as a first glance, you could tell that both dinosaurs and birds both have three, or for the most part, I mean there's ostriches, but for the most part have three toes facing forward, and usually one facing backwards, like a chicken foot, right? Another structural similarity between birds and non-avian dinosaurs. And it's not just hips and toes and evidence of feathers. The similarities extend well beyond that. It goes even into bone arrangement. Bet you didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, bone arrangement. All of this points to a similar common ancestor or a singular common ancestor. But if you zoom in to a molecular level, studies of collagen proteins from dinosaur bones show remarkable similarities to modern day birds. I mean, the protein evidence bridges the gap between, I've said it 1,000 times, it's evidence, right? And to completely ignore it, you have to be a fool. Collagen proteins from the T-Rex, for example, have been compared to modern day birds, and guess what? I mean, I'll give you one guess. And if you get it wrong after that one, I don't know what to tell you, because they are remarkably similar. So next time someone says that birds aren't dinosaurs, just remember, science, fossils, feathers, they're all on your side. And next time Kent mentions kinds, remember that his vague arguments don't really hold any water. Anyways, that was it for my little rant. Sorry, it seems a little all over the place, I think, but that's because I really didn't have a launching off point for this one. Usually I put down bullet points and a script sometimes, but that's but this time I kind of just winged it. I think this next video is going to be either about Graham Hancock or Atlantis, because you can't have one without the other.